Cheer. You already know it's your boy Joe back at it again. CodingPhase.com. Your boy is back and I done did it again. Guys, today's topic is Joe, I can't find a job in my area. What am I doing wrong? Okay, so we're going to talk about that right now. Hey guys, this video is brought to you by viewers like you and people that support our website CodingPhase.com. Go check it out. Over 20 courses in there that's gonna guide you to become a developer from the beginning to becoming a pro. All right guys, so this is actually part of my course where I go in and I talk about life after learning to code, okay? Because it's easy for somebody to come in and tell you, hey man, here's the courses, here's what you got to do. And, you know, it's like, here you go, fly. You know, it's like you're a little bird out here and you're trying to learn how to flap your wings. And it's like, hey, here's a Udemy course. Here's a course on Joe's website. Here's a whatever, a freaking website to learn to code. But here you go, somehow surviving the world. Guys, that's why I created this course. So we're going to go into it and I explain exactly how to find a job in your area no matter what. Okay, so the very first website you want to start with is Indeed.com. Okay, Indeed definitely has the most jobs, but there's a whole bunch of other websites that have jobs that Indeed don't have, because if you guys don't know, an employer has to pay a lot of money to post inside of Indeed.com. Okay, so let's come here. Basically, the whole comment that I got from the subscriber is, thanks, man. I watch all your videos. I live in Tampa. I'm having hell. Well, I guess he meant I'm going through hell finding work. Do you think I should move? Before you start thinking about moving, let's do the research, okay? First of all, let's search for Tampa, Florida, find jobs. Cool. Then from there, we come here. We put in HTML, okay? Now, one thing that I want you guys to understand, when you search HTML, automatically that means it's a web development job. All right. So web development position, and that's where you really want to start off from. Okay. Now, if you're looking for something more specific, like, hey, I want to become a WordPress developer, or hey, I want to find something like, let's say you want to be a web designer, or you want to do front end development, or you want to do React, then the other way, instead of doing it just like this through the regular search, what you want to do is you want to come to advanced, and let's search. For example, we're going to do this. We're going to say, instead of HTML, we're going to search for at least one of these words, words in the title. So we're going to say React. Let's say specifically you're looking for a React position. Okay. You're going to put it here and you're going to click find jobs. Okay. Automatically, as you guys can see, you guys going to start seeing different positions for React in Tampa, Florida. Right. Now, that's if you're looking specifically for a React position. If you're looking for WordPress, you will do this. You say WordPress. Okay. And then you see which ones are the WordPress positions that you have in your area. Okay. Now, let's say if you want to be more general with it, okay, you're going to search something like front end. Okay. You search that. And then as you can see, you're going to start seeing a whole bunch of jobs. First of all, you want to start finding jobs above $35,000. Okay. You start seeing $30,000, $25,000, $15,000. That means those are not the jobs for web development. That could be something else that picked up by the keywords, like, front end desk, or, front end desk developer or something like that. It picked it up. So you want to start looking where you might see something like 35,000 and up. Some cities might start a higher. You might say, hey, I want to start at 50,000, at 60,000. So now you start, basically making things smaller. You just start putting things in order. Okay. Now, from here, you start looking at senior web developer, $47,000, $55,000. And one thing that you're going to notice is, guys, just because you might see that, hey, in San Francisco, New York, in freaking Austin, Texas, Colorado, they paying $100,000, $120,000, over there, that doesn't mean in your area they're gonna pay you $120,000. Your cost of living is way cheaper than somebody who lives in San Francisco or New York. Now, like I said, you also have to start looking into other things. Like, is this your very first job as a developer, right? If this is the very first job, you have to actually come in and start thinking about putting in the work. And what do I mean about that? A lot of times companies is not going to trust you. Even if you might have the skills, you might have a pretty decent portfolio, unless your portfolio is like, wow, like this guy knows everything, right? Unless you in that situation, a lot of times companies do not want to hire you first. Okay. So you have to go out of your way to try to get a certain position, even if it's for 3 months, even if it's just for 6 months. Okay. Take a lower pay. It's fine. You know, a lot of people come in and tell you, man, you got to get $100 an hour. You got to get $80 an hour, $60 an hour. Like, bro, like when you are a junior developer, the reason why a lot of people have such a hard time to find a job is because they have such a higher expectation. They're like, man, as soon as I finish this boot camp, I'm gonna get $100,000. When they don't get it, then they get upset. When they finish a course and they're like, I could get $80,000. And it's like, bro, you just took a Udemy course. You just took a course on a website. You have to prove yourself. So you have to actually come in from the bottom. Yes, some people come in and you know they hit the ground running. They're like, okay, they they are lucky. They had the right place. They went to the right timing of things, and is like got hired on their first job. More power to them, right? I don't plan on luck. I make my own luck. What does that mean? I work hard. I come in and say, hey man, if I'm not getting hired anywhere, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a lower pay, work there for 3 to 6 months, then from there start applying to bigger jobs in bigger companies. And then from there, now you have that stamp in your resume that says, hey, I was a developer in another company, right? Or you might come in and you say, hey, I was a let's say product manager, right? I see this all the time. Or let's say for marketing, and you was doing HTML emails, and that's all you was doing, right? Yeah, it doesn't say developer, but you was working with websites and working with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript on that company. You get what I'm saying? So don't let those things stop you. You know what I mean? So we're gonna continue with this and looking for other places where to find jobs. But I just want to be honest with you guys. A lot of people have a lot of high expectations, and then they lose out on opportunities. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't a place where they just handing out $100,000 jobs like candy. It's like you got to have the skills, you got to prove yourself, and you got to show it. Okay. Now, this, of course, like I said, this is Indeed.com. And another thing, too, just because they might say $80,000, $100,000 doesn't mean that you cannot apply to the jobs. Apply to it no matter what. You're looking for a job. One of these jobs are going to hire you, right? One of these companies is going to come in and say, hey, come for the interview. Apply for every single job that says HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Apply to every single one. It doesn't matter if it doesn't say front end developer. It doesn't matter if it doesn't say back end developer. It doesn't matter what it is. If it says HTML, CSS, it's your first job. Just get in there, start working. 6 months from now, you could come in and be like, hey, now I work at Google or wherever the hell you have envisioned for yourself, right? But remember this, you are a self taught developer. A company needs to trust you and say, hey, we're going to hire this person before a bigger company even gives you the chance or even gives you the look. Okay. So let's continue with the next one. Craigslist. Craigslist is a great website because this is where you're going to find, job star desperate. I'll be honest. When you see a company on Craigslist, that means they looking to hire that same day. When you see companies on Indeed.com, most of the times are bigger companies who are saying like, we're going to look for the best developer out there. But what does that mean? That means that they could be there for 2 weeks, 2 months, waiting to find the right candidate. If you don't have that time and you're looking for a job now, you got Craigslist. Okay, so you could come here to the web info design, and right here you see in office HTML, CSS, editing, data entry, jack of all trades. Okay, for somebody that might come in and be like, hey man, this is not the place for me. I'm not looking for a job. Or I need to be getting paid $100,000. Guys, like I just said, sometimes you got to take that first job. If you can't find a job in your area and you saying, hey man, I just can't find it. No, there's jobs. It's just that you don't want to take it. There's a big difference. Take a job like this, right? Come in, work for for the next 3 months, start applying to other places, okay? Let's see another one. You got here, got web developer. Okay, there's another one. What they're looking for: HTML5, PHP, most likely WordPress. Let's see what else they have in here. Part-time entry level position. Let's see. I mean, technically, all you have to do is keep on looking. See, WordPress implementer slash front end developer seems pretty easy. 15 to $20 an hour. That's a pretty good start, man. It's your first job. You get what I'm saying? Now, let's say you are already more advanced, right? And you already been working out here for a while, or you have a very good portfolio. Like, hey, I got amazing portfolio. I can get hired anywhere. I know everything. I can ace the interviews. Cool. Check out dice.com. Dice.com has a lot of companies in here, man. So here you could come here and say, put Tampa, put in HTML, and that will break it down to web development jobs. Okay. Of course, you gotta sort through it, find the right position that works for you. And like I said, if it says HTML, even though the title might say something different, just apply to it. Okay. This is a very good example. Programmer analyst. Okay. This is not front end. This is not back end. Programmer analyst. Okay. Somebody might come in and look at this and say, oh, you got to be proficient on this, and that. You got to be super smart. Yeah, I can't get this job. You start looking at the stuff that's in there, man. And what this is saying, this is very basic stuff. Proficient in a PC. Soon as you hear something like that, it's like an entry level. Because for major, like let's say senior roles, you're not gonna find something where like, hey, proficient in a PC, right? They're not gonna ask you that. Like they already expecting you to know that, so they're not gonna put that there. What is it? Foundational knowledge in HTML, guys. For the jobs that I applied to, I've never seen that. Foundational knowledge in HTML. That means this is like super entry level. Look, CSS, knowledge of, some knowledge of C sharp. They're not looking for the person who is like the expert in C sharp. They're looking for somebody that knows it. You literally could come in, go to this interview, say, hey man, I know PHP, I know JavaScript, I know Ruby on Rails, whatever, right? And say, hey, I could come in and learn C sharp in a weekend if you guys need me to. Go to the interview. Trust me, you will get hired. Okay? As you guys can see, proficient in JavaScript, a good understanding of programming languages. Like they're not gonna ask you for nothing too crazy. And this is a $24 to $28 per hour position. Okay? So as you guys can see, don't go by the titles. Don't be like, oh, it has to be front end developer. It has to be back end developer. No, do your research, start going through them, and these are the websites that work. Okay. Then you have monster.com. Okay. You could come here and say Tampa. Okay. Click there. And let's say, like I told you guys, search for HTML. You know, you got front end developer, you got web designer, you got, let's see what else they got here. .NET developer lead. You definitely don't, unless you are somebody very proficient with it. You don't want to be in there. Let's say Clearwater, Florida, which is close to Tampa. You got PHP junior developer. So that means there's a lot of jobs out there. Like, you know, WordPress, WordPress developer. Let's see, PHP developer with MVC. If you know Laravel, then you understand MVC. So there's a lot of stuff that you could go in here and find. Okay, now let's look at another one. You got Glassdoor.com. Glassdoor.com is great because not only can you get information about the company, you can actually get details and data from other employees that work for that company. So, like, let's say I'm a developer there, and I say, "Hey, man, they pay me $70,000," and then another developer fills out, the form from Glassdoor and says, "Hey, I'm gonna pay $85,000." So now you have that information where you can say, "Hey, they're paying everybody from 70 to $80,000," and basically I could come in there and say, "Hey, you know what? I want to get 75," or you could say, "Hey, I want to get 80," and then if they want you, and they'd be like, "Hey, can we take a little bit lower?" Cool, that's fine. You lower it to 75 or you lower it to 70, but never below of what everybody else is already getting paid. Okay, so this is great. You can find, you come here putting HTML here. You could come here and put Tampa, Florida right there. Search for jobs. You know, come through. Let's see right here. All right, you got front end developer. 24 days ago. Even though sometimes you might see 24 days ago or 30 days ago, still apply because what happens is if they haven't taken it down, it means that they're still looking. If it's still up online, that means they're still looking. Because you got to understand this. When you see any type of listing for jobs, the companies have to pay all of these websites to actually post a job position there. All right, that's not free. This is not like Google search. When you go in here and you add something to any of the website, Glassdoor, Indeed.com, all those things cost money. It could be $200, it could be $600 per posting. So if it's still online, that means they're still paying for it. Okay, which means there's still a job for you. Okay, so as you can see, a lot of the jobs that you see on Glassdoor are not the same jobs that you're gonna find on Monster, on Dice, on Indeed. Like they're completely different. Sometimes you might see jobs that are in dice.com that they're matching with Indeed, but most of the time you're gonna find like they're very different. Different type of jobs, different companies. Some companies get a cheaper, a bigger discount with dice.com than they get with indeed.com. Okay, so they might just post on dice.com and that's it. Okay, now if you're one of the people that you're like, man, I want to get into a startup, check out Angels List. Okay, for Tampa, for whatever reason, there's really no jobs. There's really, I guess, the startup scene for Tampa is really really small. Okay, so I could come here, do this like this, search Tampa. Okay, there's 37 different jobs. So was it 37? And let's say HTML. There's only really three jobs. Okay, so full stack JavaScript developer, senior SEO, senior front end engineer, front end developer. So there's like three jobs, you know, for as far as like startups in Tampa. It's not a huge city where startups are showing up. Everybody knows that, but it's fine. Like there's companies, as you guys can see. We went through Indeed, we went through Dice, we went through Monster.com, we went through Glassdoor. There's definitely a lot of companies there that are hiring. Okay, you come here to LinkedIn. If you have a LinkedIn, you come in, create your profile. It's a great way to people to find you, see your resume, see what companies you work for. Come here, do the same thing that I just told you. So, come in here and put the keyword. Be like, hey, HTML, sort by post date. Okay, try to get the ones that just got added today. You know what I mean? So look, just today, this one got added. Mass Tech Digital, Tampa, Florida. Okay, let's see what else. They got some mid-level ones. And like I said before in one of my videos on YouTube, you have to go in and don't be scared about the titles. If it says mid-level or if it says senior level, apply to it. You'll be surprised. You got to understand, a lot of times companies want a senior level developer, right? They want a mid level developer, but sometimes there's just not that many developers in that area. So you might go in, and for the skills that you already know, they might just take the chance and hire you. You get what I'm saying? Like, don't worry about the title. Don't worry about what it says. Just go in, apply. If they want you in and they need you, they're gonna have you come in for an interview. Okay. So let's continue with this. So this is LinkedIn. All right. So there's another website that's pretty good. It's called simplyhire.com. Simplyhire.com is really good for the employer because they get a bigger and a better bang for their buck. Okay. So pretty much when they post here, they could post for very cheap. It's not like Indeed, it's not like dice.com, it's not like Glassdoor where they're gonna charge them $200, $400. This is very cheap. This is like something like $40 per listing. So a company might list here because they are a smaller company. They're not, they're not IBM. They're not Macy's.com. They're not, Nike.com. This is just small businesses, but they still need developers. Okay. And for you, your goal might be, hey, I want to work at Google. I want to work at whatever company you might think of, right? But you have to start somewhere. You are a self taught developer. So you got to understand what that means. That means that your road is a little bit harder than most. But if you are comfortable with that and you say, hey, man, what I'm here for is to get a job and to get paid, and you're fine with that, then hey, man, apply to the smaller businesses. It doesn't have the prestige of Google.com, but you're gonna make the same amount or just a little bit less than somebody who's working in one of those big companies when you work for a smaller company. Okay. Plus, you gotta think about it. It's just the beginning. It's like, look at this, like front end developer, 2 years of bootstrap. Like, as soon as you see something like this, 2 years of bootstrap is like, you already know, like, they're not looking for the most expert. Like, you don't need to be put in that anywhere. As soon as you see that 2 years of bootstrap, you know that this is not like a company that they're looking, hey, we're looking for the next Stan Abramoff. Nah, they're looking for somebody to come in to work and give an extra hand. So there's a perfect place for you guys who are beginner, beginner developers in here. Okay. So like I said, you got Python, Ruby, and Rails development. They probably looking for Node.js experience. And there's another thing too where I always tell you guys, whenever you see somewhere that they put Node.js, a lot of times what they care about is, do you even know what npm is? Do you even know what Webpack is? Do you even know what Gulp is? Because I've seen so many times, recruiters putting Node.js, but your whole job is gonna be nothing to do with Node.js besides doing npm install. Okay, and that's the truth. Okay, so now as you guys can see, look, junior web developer slash customer support, and medical education, St. Petersburg. Okay, so they want somebody that knows this stuff, and at the same time, might be able to provide some telephone, email, technical support, which is fine. You might think like, hey man, I'm a developer. I'm not supposed to do this. Guys, do this for 3 months. Go in, get your job, get hired, move on, apply it to a bigger company. You know, you sitting at home crying, I can't find a job in my area. And this is not no shot towards the subscriber who sent me the message, but there's people out there like that that be like, I just went to a boot camp. I just spent 40 hours, learning all this stuff, and now I can't find a job. Nothing's gonna help you if you stay home just crying. That's not gonna do nothing for you. What's gonna do something for you is actually working and earning money. Okay, so like I said, there's a lot of different jobs in here that you could get. Look, a lot of entry stuff. So entry level web developer, junior software developer slash programmer, RESTful API. Like there's so many things that you could get in there and get hired so quick. It's not even funny. Okay, so what's the next one? Then we got us.jobs. us.jobs is the official website by the National Labor Exchange. Wait, National Labor Exchange? What does that mean? That means this is where the big boys come in, okay? This is where you're gonna find jobs from Amazon, from Google, Microsoft, all the major big companies. And even though you might say, hey, you might see stuff like Coca-Cola, you might see Nike, you might see Macy's, you might see American Apparel, like you might see HP, you might see Philips, you might see what else? There's a whole bunch of companies that you're going to find here. You got Facebook, right? Why do they show up here on this website? Well, most of these companies get kudos. They get, brownie points for actually listing their jobs here because this is actually part of the government. You know what I mean? So what they do is they put this into, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that or have heard this on the news when they be like, oh, today job unemployment is 4% or 200,000 jobs were created today. Like, this is where those jobs show up at. Okay, if you have certain skills and you want to find out what jobs just got created, from major companies, you're gonna find them here. All right. So I really hope that this is useful for you guys. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys enjoy. I know how to code. Now what? Life after learning to code. All right. See you guys later.